Call yourself a hacker and lose your Fourth Amendment rights. Congress responds to NSA diplomat spying. The USA Freedom Act hits, and the Dark Mail Alliance. Could email finally become secure? All that and more this time on ThreatWire.
Hello and welcome to ThreatWire. I'm Darren Kitchen.
I'm Shannon Morse.
And this is your summary of what's threatening security, privacy, and our beloved internet freedom.
There's definitely some threatening stuff going on. Now, Corey Thewin, a software developer, used to work for a company called Battelle Energy Alliance, where he helped create a program called Sophia. Now, Sophia would alert energy plants and electricity sources if they were under any kind of electronic attack, which we've discussed in the past.
Oh, yay, SCADA.
Now, according to the plaintiffs in this battle, Battelle wanted to license the program while Thewin wanted it to be open sourced. So Thewin left Battelle to set up a company called South Fork Security, and South Fork was all ready to purchase the license of Sophia, which Battelle pretty much wanted, but they eventually withdrew and another company took the license. Now, just a few months later after that happened, South Fork Security, the one that Thewin created, started marketing a situational awareness program called Wisdom that Battelle says is a complete knockoff of Sophia. So Battelle sued Thewin, but what makes this controversy not so boring, because up to this point it kind of is the fact that, is the fact that Battelle persuaded the court to seize Thewin's computer. Because as a hacker, he could copy the files, release them online, and destroy evidence if he knew about the seizure, which pretty much could happen to anybody. Now, on Thewin's South Fork Security website, he says, "We like hacking things and we don't want to stop." So by basically saying, yes, we are hackers, the court ruled to allow the copying of the hard drive, an incredibly large breach of privacy. Now, a restraining order was also brought against Thewin, disabling him from releasing the source code, even though his product was open source. So, the moral of the story on this is
capitalism is evil?
Capitalism is evil. Now, defining oneself as a hacker is still frowned upon, and it can be used against you in a court. Due to the fact that most cybersecurity professionals are hackers, I mean, most of my friends are cybersecurity professionals, and they go to HackerCons.
Are hackers.
And are the people that you should thank for any kind of security that you have, because they're the ones that created it. So this should not be the case, especially as the world grows more and more technical. I mean, it's 2013, so why are people getting in trouble for calling themselves hackers? How is this still frowned upon? Ugh!
Hackers of the world, unite.
It just irks me.
Yes. You know what else irks me? I'm going to have to take a moment here. This is, in fact, the last time that ThreatWire is going to air on TechFeed. So I want to end on a high note.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. Which is actually surprisingly easy to do this week because Senate Intelligence Committee Chairman Denise Feinstein issued a press release regarding the recent reports of NSA conducting surveillance on world leaders. And while Congress they're going to be Congress and make statements like, "It's not my understanding that President Obama was not aware of Chancellor Merkel's communications being collected." It's okay, Congress. We don't expect you to admit fault. But the good news here is that the latest revelations have finally hit politicians where it matters. I mean, it's one thing to brush under the rug the whole, American citizens being, spied upon. Domestic surveillance is one thing, but it's totally another when it's diplomat on diplomat action. In fact, Feinstein states Congress needs to know exactly what our intelligence community is doing. To that end, the committee will initiate a major review into all intelligence collection programs. NSA, clinch. Now, it's no wonder changes in the area. And it's not just because Mercury's in retrograde. The StopWatching.us rally against mass surveillance went off as a huge hit in Washington, D.C. on the 26th with an outcry of citizen support for the movement. Let's take a quick look at that video.
We all know why we're here today. We're here because 4 months ago, Americans and the rest of the world were finally broadly awakened to the fact that parts of our government don't see the internet and the rest of our communications infrastructure the same way that we do.
Now, in response, the USA Freedom Act seems to be gaining traction. It was introduced on the 27th by Patrick Leahy and Jim Sensenbrenner. You may recall the latter as the father of the USA Patriot Act, which some would say is part of the reason we're in this mess. Now, Sensenbrenner has said that the NSA is out of control. Let's take a look.
The NSA is out of control. And the time has come not only to revise the Patriot and Foreign Intelligence and Surveillance Act, but I think we're going to have to completely revamp and ramp down the NSA, which is not supposed to be spying on Americans, but is supposed to be dealing with foreign intelligence.
So good on you, America, for identifying the atrocities of our intelligence community and taking these first steps, because if you ask me, we should demilitarize the internet, the first global network that would have ever known the possibility of transcending the bounds of oppressive governments, this one included. Now, Jacob Appelbaum, who works on the Tor project, recently said regarding the military occupation of the entire internet that these defensive organizations, like the NSA, should be split.
Fundamentally, what we need is to see a shift of that these defensive organizations that also have an offensive mission, that they should be split. Information assurance does not go well, I think, with weaponizing exploits. If you have to break into systems and you get all the bug reports from the information assurance side that tells you how to break into systems and how to fix them, you always have an edge for breaking in. But you also have an incentive to never, ever, ever fix the broken systems.
Now, this was part of the European Parliament's privacy platform where Appelbaum spoke alongside Ladar Levison, the owner and operator of LavaBit, who also spoke out about the shutdown of that email provider.
Effectively, what was going on is the FBI wanted to usurp my online identity, usurp my private key, and use it to masquerade as my business on the internet and intercept all of the communications coming in and out of my network.
Now, Levison has teamed up with Silent Circle to resist surveillance. This new project, dubbed Darkmail Alliance, attempts to rebuild email. It's both natural to users as your regular inbox, as well as secure with automatic peer-to-peer encryption technologies that are based on Silent Circle's messaging protocol. And get this, if it were adopted, it would actually deliver a messaging solution to everyone, which is resilient to the sort of upstream collection programs run by the NSAs and GCHQs of the world. I mean, you guys have heard us talk about PGP and GPG and other clunky email solutions for privacy before, and we've seen politicians yodel bullshit since the beginning of time, but it seems like this actual mass awakening of the surveillance state we've become is finally entering the next chapter of change. And what's awesome here is that all of us, we are each individually empowered technologically and politically to take charge and to rid our networks of this toxic pollution and actually shape the one and only potentially free network on Earth. This is so exciting. I love you all. Now, we're saying peace out on TechFeed, but subscribe on threatwire.org. That's where you can find us and the continuing ways to subscribe and get involved in our community. With all of that, I'm Darren.
I'm Shannon.
We'll see you on the internet.
Ciao.
Let's keep it free.